So I did start my trigger series, I think at the beginning of the year or the end of last year. Anyway, I am one of those people that don't look at the messenger. It's all about the message. So I am just the messenger. However, I feel like it's important to relay important messages that matter to us. So on Instagram, I seen a lady say that anxiety in Black women most often looks like an attitude or irritation. And I had to sit with that for a moment because I had to look in the ways in which anxiety has come up, and it may have come off as an attitude. So, according to the dictionary, anxiety means a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, typically about an intimate event or something with an uncertain outcome. According to psychiatry, it means a mental condition characterized by excessive apprehensiveness about a real or perceived threats, typically leading to avoidance behavior and often to physical symptoms such as an increased heart rate and muscle tension. As a Black woman, I had to think of the times that I have been in a situation where it was anxiety, but we haven't been giving the grace to say that we're having anxiety. And it stems from the stereotype that mental illnesses and mental disorders get in our community. And so if it was, and in some places it still is, if you say that you're having a mental issue or you're having anxiety, a lot of times we're told, well, you just need to pray about it, or Black people don't get stressed, or go to church, or this, that, and other. All of the wrong information. But we are told that we have to be stronger, faster, bigger, smarter, prettier, more intelligent than our counterpartners. However, we suffer probably more from anxiety than our counterparts. And I know it sounds cliche, but so many times we are wearing this cape on our back and the S on the chest where we have to be this superwoman and we have to be able to do all things. And no, you are not allowed to have anxiety or be stressed or be uneased in any situation, because you have to stay on your toes. You have to constantly be doing something or be in movement. And so with knowing all of this and seeing the state of the world being so stressful and so chaotic, it's like, okay, so I can't have anxiety. I can't have mental issues. I gotta wear this S on my chest. I gotta be superwoman. I gotta carry the weight on my shoulders. And so, what is anxiety? And I had to think about, okay, when is it a time that I was uneasy and nervous about a possible threat? And then you turn on social media and somebody has shot up a school, or somebody has lost their life, or somebody has taken their life. And it's like, okay, I know that this is the situation that I could possibly be in, but I can't. So I'm mad. I'm irritated. And for me, I looked at situations, not just with me, because I just recently found out that my daughter has more anxiety than I even would have thought of. And I could see that. Being the oldest, they said sometimes is like being the manager. the assistant manager. So the oldest sometimes has to manage the other siblings. And so this causes a little bit of anxiety. Well, when she is triggered by her anxiety, she's irritated. I feel the same way because I want to send my kids off to school and know that they're safe and they're well protected. And because they aren't, or the first thing that comes up, I'm irritated. If there's a situation I had a situation going on at the school last year where I was denied access to the classroom, and I didn't get irritated because I understand the precautions. I get that. And I appreciate that because of the things that's happening. But I was irritated in the way the situation went down. And it didn't cause me anxiety. It caused me anger where I wanted to grab her across the desk and sling her and say something completely warranted. It was very warranted. But when am I allowed to just say, hey, I'm having an anxiety attack, a panic attack? And see, now we don't even know the difference between a panic attack or a heart attack because we weren't allowed to have that. Like there are even some women now that will tell you, I've never had an anxiety attack. I've never had any mental issues. I've been stressed because I'm a mom, and as a mom, we get stressed, but I got through it. And don't give me no medication. I'm not crazy. I'm just going to pray. I'm going to go to church. I'm going to talk to the pastor. I'm going to do all these things instead of finding somebody to talk to about it so that you can learn how to deal with these anxiety, panic attacks in a healthy, safe way. Because I do believe that a lot of us, that when we have these issues with anxiety and mental health, we start to self-medicate. And when I say self-medicate, because I had no idea that sometimes overworking is a symptom of anxiety, or overexercising, or in my case, consuming too much television and TV and things like that. So that's a way to escape your reality through those things, or it's a way to put them out your mind because I got to concentrate on work, or I got to concentrate on working out. And so instead of dealing with it head on, we just ignore. And I don't know about you, but ignoring a problem doesn't make it go away. It either increases it or it shows up in some other form of your life. And I have this article that it tells you about different types of anxiety: social anxiety, PTSD. And a lot of times when you hear PTSD, you thinking it comes from maybe war or violence that you can relate to. But I want to tell you that PTSD can come from so many things. And for instance, I'm going to tell you, I was suffering from PTSD and didn't even know that it was PTSD. So I guess it's been about 2 years. I was at a nightclub, and we stood outside the nightclub for just a few minutes because it was shutting down and people were, the crowd was coming out. And it was a couple of maybe 30 people outside. It was an older crowd, so it was no real, I didn't feel that it was a real threat. Fast forward to about 9 months later, there was a shooting outside of the same club. So I immediately felt my anxiety rise because I was thinking, thank you, God, that you saved me yet again from a danger that I had no idea I was in at the time. But now that I know it could have been me, I felt my anxiety rise. And then to realize that people lost their lives in that shooting, and it's not too far from where we live. It's in like the heart of our community. And now there's a fear of social anxiety. Like when you go out, is it going to happen? Or am I safe? Or when you send your kids out, are they safe? So we have this PTSD that we don't even realize we have. And some of the times we're afraid to even admit that we have it. There was a situation at my daughter's school a couple of years ago where there was an intruder, and I found out on Facebook. And so I rushed to the school, first person on the scene. The description of the suspect was very vague. And when I got there, our kids were sitting on the football field with all these policemen with guns bigger than them. And it was cold. And it was a terrible experience, not just for us parents, because there was hours before we were even able to lay our hands on our kids. But every time there's a school shooting, my PTSD takes me back to that moment. And so now my anxiety is high. And when we drop them off at school and we pray on them, and every time my kids get ready to get out the car, I make sure I tell them I love you, have a good day, and I'll see you later. And I'm sure so many other mothers and fathers do that, not knowing the outcome. Seems to be 2 or 3 shootings every 2 or 3 months. And what is being done at the top level? Like, it's hard to say stop it, or, we can have these town hall meetings, but everything is causing our anxiety to go through the roof. And so a lot of times we're irritated. So let me give you a prime example. If I just dropped my kids off at school and 2 weeks ago there was a school shooting, give me a minute before you come over in my face and you want to talk, because I have to pray and thank God and try to cover my kids and put a hedge of protection around them. And then I gotta get settle into work mode, get my mind where I can concentrate on work, because right now I had to pull away from school and wave goodbye to my child, hoping and praying everything gonna be okay. So yes, I'm a little irritated. Yes, I may have an attitude. No, it's not really directed towards you, but we have to have some compassion, because it's not just Black women. We just don't have we can't afford to be labeled, because if I have anxiety or I have PTSD, oh, that bitch crazy. And it's far from it. It's far from being crazy or having an attitude, because you have to understand that a Black woman carries the weight of the world on our shoulder, and we didn't even ask for this. But not only are we carrying the weight of the world on our shoulder, we're the most unprotected, underappreciated, underpaid, overworked, most endangered creature on planet Earth. Yeah, when these animals go, they're becoming extinct and they're endangered, and you want to do something to protect them, yet we're losing our lives at a fast rate. Heart disease, maternal mortality, domestic violence, cancer. Like, there's so many different things trying to take us out and wipe us off the earth. So fuck yes, sometimes we are irritated. Sometimes we do have an attitude. And if you can't understand it, then fuck you too, is my outlook on it. Because I'm no longer in a position where I'm going to apologize for the way I feel. And if you can't get that, then get the hell on. Because I'm willing to do what it takes to get the help, to figure out how to maintain my sanity, or to try to work through my anxiety. But if you catch me on the wrong day, or you catch me at the wrong time, then I'm sorry, you might catch some of this anxiety or irritation or attitude. It's nothing personal. Sometimes You just happen to be the punching bag that walked in at the wrong moment. So forgive us for not knowing or not being given the approval that we can be stressed too, because I do believe that our counterparts may get a little more sympathy for having mental disorders and anxiety and things like that, that we don't always get the privilege of having. So if you come across this video and you think about, oh, maybe I was having an anxiety attack or a panic attack, or maybe it's PTSD, or maybe it was because I was raised in a toxic household and I don't know how to say I'm having mental issues. And then we get to the point where we have a breakdown, and then everybody, well, what happened? Well, what's wrong with her? It's something we've been stuffing because we didn't know that we could do it, or we don't know how to express it. So my advice is, if you have any symptoms, first do your research. Look up the symptoms of anxiety and mental illnesses, PTSD, and those things like that. And if you have those symptoms, find somebody to talk to. Now it's more common and there's more resources out there for us than there was 10 or 15 years ago. And I love the fact that Megan has this new thing that bad bitches have bad days too. Everybody have bad days. Everybody. It's just that a lot of times we're not in a place or a space where we're allowed to have bad days. But as a black woman, as a mother, as an entrepreneur, I'm going to tell you, we have a lot of bad days. More bad days than we can ever admit to. And a lot of times for me, if I have a bad day, the best thing for me to do is take a shower, get a book, and get in the bed and just shut the door and shut everybody out until I'm able to come out and face the world again. But that's also not healthy, which is why I said that we don't understand that when we're overworking ourselves, or we're over exercising, or we overindulge in ice cream or food or sex, or we go crazy and cut all our hair off, those are all signs of anxiety or depression or overstress. But until we start making it okay, or start saying, oh yeah, that's what I got, and start those conversations with our friends and our homegirls and our coworkers and our community and our sisters and our mothers and our aunties, it's going to continue to be a snowball effect, and it's only going to get worse because the world is getting worse and the anxiety and the pressure is getting heavy. And the bigger your assignment, the bigger the crown, the heavier the shit is, the worse it's going to get. Heavy is the head that wear the crown. To whom much is given, much is required. So if you got a big assignment, I'm going to say you're going to struggle with stress a little bit more than your homegirl that don't have an assignment. If you're not the curse breaker, you don't understand. But if you're the generational curse breaker, the chosen one in your family, you understand what I'm saying. So reach out, get help. Go for walks, listen to music, do things that will brighten up your mood, help your situation. But the first thing I want to say is admit that, yes, damn it, I have a problem. And seek out the resources that you need, and don't try to do it on your own. So many times we feel like I got to do it by myself. But this is my thing. I'm a whole. Seek some kind of assistance, some help, some way to deal with this instead of drowning it in alcohol or drugs or pills, sex, men. There's so many different things that I tell you, you try to numb that shit, but when they wear off or you come back down, that shit's still right there. So get rid of the problem, get rid of the situation, the root of that shit, and then come out and say, I need help. Or if you've already gone through it, say, this is what helped me. This is what I did. Help somebody else. Because I guarantee you that your testimony is going to help somebody else that may be going through it. And I know that is what I need to use my platform for. To get the word out, to let know this is what I did, but this is how I overcame it. Or this is how I'm overcoming it. Or this is how I cope with it. Or these are some of the things that I use to get me through. Deep breathing, meditation, going for walks, reading a book, different things like that, journaling, that it's a start, but it isn't always a one-all, fix-all. There's many different ways to cope. But first, you have to admit that you even got that shit going on. So let me know if this resonates. Let me know if you want to hear more about it, or if you want to keep sweeping that shit under the rug, because I'm not doing that.